Good morning. Good to be with you again this morning. And we're continuing to build on the 4 pillars of a healthy Christian business leader: healthy relationships, biblical financial values, biblical spirituality, and balanced living. This week, we're dealing with pillar number 1, which is healthy relationships. And the series, I call the series Mothers and Their Day. And so far this week, we have looked at your mom and how she has impacted your relationships. And that's true whether your mom is still alive or your mom has passed on. The relationship that you've had with her impacts all of your other relationships. Tuesday, we looked at the mother of your children and the importance of honoring her and treating her with respect. And then yesterday we talked about great mothers in the Bible. We looked at Moses' mother and in particular. And then today, the pros and cons of the one day. So, what are the pros and the cons of the one day? How can we best honor our mothers? I find the one day a year kind of problematic and maybe even a little bit insulting. Let's face it, let's look at the origins of Mother's Day, at least here in North America. I know I was visiting with some friends yesterday in their country. They actually celebrate Mother's Day on the first day of spring, and obviously we celebrate it on the second Sunday in May. So what are the origins of Mother's Day in North America? Well, the origins, it sort of started back in the early 1900s with a woman named Anna Jarvis. Anna Jarvis ran a campaign for an official holiday honoring mothers. In 1905 was the year that her mother passed away. And her focus was really on her mother in particular, but mothers in general. But the first large-scale celebration of Mother's Day, again, I'm talking North America here, was in 1908 when Jarvis held a public memorial for her mother in her hometown. And that was kind of the beginning of Mother's Day. Now, I think Mother's Day is great. I think it's great to have time when we focus on our mothers and honor them. But I do, as I already mentioned, find having kind of one day problematic, and I'll get into that in a moment. From about 1920, what is interesting, Jarvis, the very same woman who fought for Mother's Day, fought hard to prevent businesses from profiting by means of Mother's Days. Candies, cards, flowers, and other gifts. When you read the history of it was the flower companies, the flower stores, that in essence helped her get Mother's Day kind of on the map. And then when she saw it become commercialized, she actually fought against it. And although she had fought to be recognized as the one and only mother of Mother's Day, which is kind of interesting, she wanted to kind of have the glory for herself. Later, she lobbied to have the holiday removed from the calendar. She wanted to get rid of it. And she spent a lot of her own money in lawsuits against what she would refer to as the profiteers. Again, as she saw Mother's Day become, again, something she had not wanted it to be. So she fought for it, and she got it, but then it turned into something different than what she wanted. And then she fought against it, and spent lots of her money to try and stop it from carrying on. So the pros and cons of the one day. I'll start with the cons and end with the pros, because you might as well end on a positive note rather than a negative note. So the cons of Mother's Day are, number one, commercialization. And I would agree with her that it really is about selling lots of cards, flowers, and of course candy, And then, of course, the other thing that later on became a reality, and certainly here in Canada is a reality, is taking mom out to a restaurant and going there with the family, spending lots of money. Of course, it was meant mom didn't have to cook, she didn't have to do the dishes or anything like that. But it also meant that, you know, dad wasn't cooking, or the kids weren't cooking, and they weren't cleaning up, and they weren't. So it was just an easy way to say, you know what, Mom, we honor you, and we're going to take you out to a nice restaurant. Great for the restaurants, definitely, you know. And so it's kind of the con, because it really is commercialization. The second con is the one day does not make up for the 364 days of disrespect. And to me, that's where I kind of have an issue with Mother's Day. I see too much of families that don't treat mom with respect. You know, don't treat her kindly. Don't honor her in the proper ways. Husbands that don't honor their wives the way they ought to. But then on this day, they go all out and they have a big family do, and they make it all about her. But then tomorrow, you know, she better watch out, right? And so to me, that is a huge con. It's nice to honor her on that day if you're honoring her throughout the year. But if you're not honoring her throughout the year, and then you give her this one day, and then you disrespect her the rest, that's not a good thing. So that's the cons. Now, what about the pros? What are the pros of Mother's Day? Well, it's honoring our mothers. It is. It's a day when we have opportunity to show them that we really do love them and honor them and respect them. And again, if you're doing that all throughout the year, which I hope you are, and I encourage you to, then this is kind of like the cherry on top of the cake. This is just adding to the positive things that you're already doing. And I would encourage you to do that for sure. And then it gives us an opportunity to reflect on the influence our mother has had on our lives. You know, it is a good day to think back for those who are now adults, and you know, your mom has had an influence on you, to think back on the positive and even the negative, but also the positive things that she has done that have impacted your life. And even if the positive things she's done has given you life, you can reflect on that in a positive way. But whatever the case, it's an opportunity for us to reflect on the influence that our mother has had on us, both the good and the bad. And then, as we talked about a couple of days back, then you take the good and you honor her with that. And then third, it gives us a great reason to come together as families. Now again, I know this is COVID-19, and certainly in Ontario, there ought to be no coming together as families right now. And I understand that, and that's just the way it is right now. But we can still do things through Zoom and or Messenger or whatever, you know, platform you want to use for that, to still connect with our mothers if they, you know, if we have them with us, and to get the family together in some fashion in that way certainly can still be done to honor our mothers. But Lord willing, next year, you know, 2020, there will be opportunity for us to actually gather together again as families. And Mother's Day has always been a great day of gathering the family together, to be able to just show her that we honor her and that we love to be with her. Just my encouragement would be that when you do gather together, we're able to do that again. Don't make that the day that she has to cook the big meal and she has to clean up the dishes after everybody's left. Make sure everybody pitches in together. It helps out so that it doesn't become a burden to her, but it actually is a joy for her. So today, as you go about your day, consider how you're honoring your mother, you know, and how you're honoring the mother of your children. Consider that. And then may Mother's Day be the cherry on the cake of honoring our mother. May the Lord bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.